Today I am mega excited because I have got my first ever barn find and I think this is a really good one. And not only is it a classic, but it is a Suzuki with one of the most bulletproof engines they ever made. And I got it for an absolute steal. But as you probably know, if it's really cheap and a barn find, it means it's going to need a lot of work. So let me show you what I got. This is, of course, a Suzuki GS 650G. Not to be confused with the GS 650G Katana, that looks like this, which is the sport model, or the GS 650GL, which is this one, which is the custom or cruiser model. This is the regular Suzuki 650G, which features Suzuki's 4-cylinder 650cc bulletproof dual overhead cam engine with shaft drive. But facts-wise, that's about all I know about this bike. But what I do know is that back in the day, this was one hell of a machine. And people highly rated this bike and still do today as a classic. The one thing I can definitely tell you about this particular bike is that it has not run in 10 years or more. It has been stored in a barn down in West Wales for at least the last 10 years. It hasn't run, it hasn't ridden, it hasn't had much of anything done to it other than it looks like someone's taken some parts off. But whether they did that in recent years or whether that was in the years before it was stored, I do not know. But if that engine is as bulletproof as people say, I have no doubt with a bit of light fiddling, we can get that to run again fairly easily. So first things first, a bit of fresh fuel and a jump pack, and we'll see if she runs. I am just kidding. I know better than that by now. We are a long way from testing it to see if it runs. Now, as you can see, the bike is not currently complete because at some point, either during its storage or before it went into storage, somebody obviously had to go at taking some parts off. They've taken off most of the loom, the headlights, the brakes, or the rear brakes at least. So there's a few parts that are not on the bike, but it is good news because I have got the parts. The parts are actually in these boxes here, and they look like they're pretty much all there. I've got the headlight, airbox, some other bits. I'm pretty sure most of it is all there, with the exception of the rear brake caliper, which I have no idea where it is. There's a bracket for the clocks and maybe some other parts. But except for those, they are all there. Or at least I think they're all there. Now, I know this bike is pretty rough, but it was very cheap and it is pretty much all there. Now, I know what you're thinking. You could be thinking, why on earth have you bought that? Or possibly even thinking, uh-oh, Sam has bought more junk. But that was so cheap, I basically would have been an idiot to not buy it. I mean, it even came with keys and a logbook, and it is a proper barn find, so I got a bit excited. And it's a proper classic, which means I can register it as a historical vehicle because this is a 1981, which then means no tax, no MOT, and it'll qualify for classic vehicle insurance. Which hopefully, once it's fixed up, could mean that it makes it a bit more desirable and means it's worth a bit more money. Now, it's a bit hard to gauge what one of these is worth all done up because there's not that many of them, or especially not the 650, and those that are out there are unfinished projects similar to this. But mine was cheaper than all of them. But before we get on to how much I've paid for it, let's get this bike on my new lift over there that I've been absolutely dying to use, see what parts I've got and where they all go, and then maybe we'll check the oil and check the state of those carbs. So now that it is up at eye line, we can have a good look over it. It is pretty rusty, pretty dirty, missing a few bits. It's pretty good.
I don't think I can take this anymore. I might just break. All the heartache, 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 all the heartache.
Okay, we're taking a bit of a fast forward because that was a lot of parts on, parts off. I know I'm only loosely putting parts on, but I'm just trying to see how much of the bike I've actually got. But I haven't really filmed anything for the last hour or so because me and my dad have been doing all of the wiring, putting the loom back in and connecting everything up. Let's take a look. So it needs cable management, but we have connected up everything on the front. The coils are connected up. All of the rear electrics are connected up. In fact, the only thing that is not connected up is whatever this plugs to, which I can't really work out, and the rear indicators, because I don't have them. And that is about it. Everything else is connected. And as it turns out, the rear caliper was in the box, so I don't even have to find one of those. There are a few bits missing, obviously, that I need to find, like the rear lens plus all the bulbs and everything for the rear brake lights and the rear indicators. I'll need to find a horn and a bracket, or the bracket, for all of these. And now I'm going to be a bit brave and I'm going to strap a battery on and see if any of our electrics work at all. Obviously, I'm not going to try and turn the engine over yet because that would be foolish at this point. As much as I really want to, I'm not going to. I just want to see how much of it actually works, or if any of it works at all, and see if we've done it right. Okay, battery in. We've got a booster on it because it's a bit low, but we've got an oil light and we've got neutral. So something at least is wired up properly. Let's try some light. We have got the headlight. So let's try the right indicator because there is a bulb in there. Nothing. Oh, no, we've got low beam. That's what I just switched. Okay, so good news that some of the electrics are working. The ignition works. Obviously, I don't have some bulbs in certain places, so we can't really test those. But I would like to see if the engine actually turns over. So I'm going to drop any oil that's in there, and I am going to put fresh oil in it. And then I'll see if the ignition button works, and if not, then we'll have to figure it out or put power straight to the starter, see if we can turn it over. But obviously what I'm not going to try and do is start it because, you know, one, I've not put any fuel in it, and two, those carbs need to be cleaned before I even consider starting it. It's not even bad. Yeah, be right now. I've got too much in. Okay, so oil changed. I don't have an oil filter for this because obviously I've only just picked it up, but I actually had oil, so I've done an oil change, so nobody can accuse me of that anymore. I change oil. Also, I know you can't tell by what's in there because there was already old oil in there, but what came out actually looked quite clean. So whether somebody has changed the oil in the last 10 years or however long this has been off the road, because it was pretty clean. It was all over my hand when I took the sump plug out, and it really, you know, it wasn't black, it wasn't horrible. It actually looked fairly okay. But either way, I've changed it. So we've got peace of mind that when I try and turn that engine over, hopefully it turns over, because otherwise I've just wasted a bunch of oil. But we got peace of mind if it does turn over that the oil in there is good. Okay, keys on, jump pack on, ignition test. Nada. Okay, ignition is a no-go. There's literally nothing happening when you hit that button. So either something's not connected right, or maybe there's a bad connection, bad earth, something, anything. But what I am going to try is a bit of something I've tried before. It's a bit sketchy, but if it works, we get confirmation. Okay, quite simply, what I'm going to do is jump the earth from the starter to the live for the starter, skipping out the solenoid. So 3, 2, 1. Woo! Okay, a little bit sketchy, but not as sketchy as when we did it with the pliers on the CBR. At least we used the actual cables this time. But the engine turns over, so we know it's not seized. So it is a lot more savable now than it was at the start of this video. So while I'm here, I am just going to check for spark. So 3, 2, 1. No spark. Now, I know against a rusty bolt might not have been the perfect place to check for a spark, but it should have given me sort of some indication whether it was sparking or not. Now, it could be the coils are wired up wrong, could be bad connection somewhere. There could be a number of different reasons why it's not sparking, but at least I know the engine turns over. So, half good. So super good news with that, because it's not seized. We know it's savable. Whether I save it or whether I sell it and somebody else saves it, I don't know yet. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it, but I just knew I had to buy that bike, because I'll tell you now the price. This entire Suzuki GS 650G with all of the parts, pretty much all of them anyway, the keys and the logbook cost me just £150, which for your first barn find at 150 quid is a bit of a steal. Now, I really was not planning on buying a bike this week. I was on a bit of a freeze. I've been finishing projects. The BMW is now ready to go for its MOT retest. Probably by the time this video goes out, it will even have the MOT. I was supposed to be working on the Yamaha this week, but I am still waiting for some parts. And obviously, I had that offered to me at £150, and I got super excited, and I just headed straight down West Wales to go and buy it. Now, to be totally honest, I thought by now I would have maybe had the carbs off and started getting them clean, but it took me so long to get all the parts where they should on the bike, because I don't know where anything goes. I didn't dismantle it. It was already like that. So that took so long that I don't have time to get the carbs off and to delve any further into that bike right now. I mean, I even would have liked to have maybe given it a wash by now so I could see what's dirt and what's rust, but to be honest, it mostly looks like rust. Now, at this point, I am not sure exactly what to do with that Suzuki. Now, because I only paid £150 for it, I reckon I could sell that for a profit. I reckon I could at least double my money on it, or if not more. Or because it only cost me £150, I can keep it here as a long-term project. However, as you can see, there's quite a few other long-term projects going on here. So the responsible thing to do would probably be sell it and make a quick profit. But we know that I like to try and save things. And I think at the very least, I could probably get that running. And I think that might make for some good content. And I'd love to give it a wash, because that'll be its first wash in over 10 years. And on the other hand, restoring it would be a very good learning experience for me. However, I think that would cost an absolute bomb in parts. Well, probably not so much in parts because I've got most of them, but maybe some parts and my time. But one thing I definitely do know after today is that having a lift table makes life so much easier because I've not been crawling around on the floor in here. I have still got dirty because that thing is absolutely filthy, but that has been so much easier than getting up and down off the floor and then doing my back in. So if you could let me know in the comments how far you'd like to see me go with this bike. If you want to see me just get it running and riding and get it flipped, then let me know. If you want to see a full restoration, then let me know and I might consider it. Because obviously I am still in the middle of a restoration on the Melody, which will be a video for next week. But obviously that is quite a time consuming restoration. I've still got the Yamaha to do, which will be coming very, very soon. So it could be a while before we end up doing a restoration on that, if that's what I decide to do. Or let me know if you think I should just flip it now and use that money to put towards some other projects and go do some more bargain hunting as I do, because I really do enjoy a bit of bargain hunting. And as much as you lot tell me I buy junk, I'm sure you love seeing the junk that I buy at this point. But for this week, that's about all I got time for with the GS. Next week, we're back on the Melody rebuild, where hopefully I will have the majority of the bike reassembled. And then maybe the week after that, I want to see if I can get that Yamaha running, and this time on more than 2 cylinders. So if you don't want to miss those 2 upcoming videos and find out the future of the GS, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of that. And if you think the GS was a very good buy at 150 quid, then let me know in the comments, and also remember to let me know what exactly you think I should do with it. And also, keep your eyes out for some new additional content I've got coming on a Wednesday, possibly the Wednesday after this video goes out, or maybe the one after. I'm not 100% sure, it's all going to depend on time. But do not miss that, because there's a chance for me to give back to some of you. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, then make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And until the next video, thank you so much for watching.